With concerns about crime becoming a major issue in critical midterm races, now just 3 weeks until Election Day, many Republican candidates are returning to criticism of calls to, quote, defund the police. But in an ABC News investigation conducted with our own stations across the country, our Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas reports on what's actually happening with police department budgets in recent years and whether the campaign rhetoric matches the reality. Here's Pierre Thomas.
With less than 25 days left until the midterm elections, the rhetoric in some of the high-profile races is ramping up.
Streets are exploding with drugs and violence, while liberals like Tim Ryan attack and defund our police.
Defunding the police is way off the mark. We need more cops, not less.
Among the top issues candidates hope will bring voters to the polls, crime, with the issue of defunding the police often front and center.
Violent crime is on the rise, and our law enforcement is under attack.
A review of broadcast transcripts shows police funding and similar phrases being used thousands of times in midterm political ads and during candidate appearances. Those ads appear to be breaking through to voters.
The issue of crime where I live has been dealt with well because our servants, our police, and our emergency services are doing their job well. They have not been defunded.
I think crime is completely out of control all over this country.
Absolutely.
And we have to get a handle on it. This doesn't even look like the America I grew up in. It's ridiculous.
Some conservatives are suggesting rising crime rates are the result of cutting police budgets. But our ABC-owned television stations analyzed budgets for more than 100 police agencies and found defunding never happened in most cities.
I think that defunding the police has been, at least the terminology, has been so shocking to so many people because I don't think that they necessarily understand the nuances of it.
In 83% of the budgets we reviewed, funding increased by at least 2% between 2019 and 2022. And defunding often means different things for different departments.
I think that the majority of individuals should realize that defunding the police is not a literal term. There have been several places that have defunded the police, which really means a reallocation or redistribution of funds and resources.
In some cities, funding was shifted to different areas of the police department or to social services, not reduced. But some candidates are hyper-focused on appearing tough on crime and supporting police officers.
Across America, crime has exploded. Police officers killed in the line of duty.
In Texas, Governor Greg Abbott is promising to protect law enforcement budgets if he's reelected.
I support our law enforcement by ensuring that they are fully funded.
When we looked at the numbers across Texas, we found all but one of the departments saw budget increases over the last few years. Austin was one of the few cities that reallocated police funding following protests during the summer of 2020. In 2021, city leaders reduced the police budget by 30%. They plan to use that money for additional police oversight and community and mental health programs. But the following year, state legislators passed a law barring cities from cutting police budgets. Austin ended up increasing police funding by 50% this year.
Our budget is frozen, our hiring is frozen, and the vacancies are starting to mount.
Disputes over police budgets are also making headlines in local races. Los Angeles County Sheriff Alex Villanueva is running for re-election. Earlier this year, he held a press conference to explain that any cuts to his budget would put lives at risk.
People literally are going to die on the streets for lack of us being able to intervene to stop crime or to solve crime that has already happened.
But while the sheriff's share of the county's overall budget has decreased, he's actually been getting more money every year. In fact, since 2019, the sheriff's department's budget has increased 8%.
Good morning, everyone.
When our LA station KABC challenged the sheriff, he said it's still a direct defunding because the budget is not keeping up with costs.
It's not politically popular to invest in public safety.
County officials say the sheriff needs to be smarter about the billions of dollars he's receiving. This response from LA County's Chief Executive Office. The board has not defunded the sheriff's department. The sheriff, not the Board of Supervisors or the county's Chief Executive Office, has the responsibility and the authority to decide how he uses his department's $3.6 billion budget. Making tough fiscal, personnel, and programmatic decisions are part of the job.
Part of the reason why the defund the police narrative has stayed around is because police officers say it and elected officials say it, and people believe and trust them.
Rayshawn Ray studies law enforcement policy and research and says the connection between police funding and crime rates is based more on perception than data.
There isn't a huge correlation necessarily between police spending and crime reduction. Roughly 40% of all homicides go uncleared, meaning unsolved every year. That's part of the reason why people feel unsafe, is because they hear about these crimes and they don't hear oftentimes a lot about someone being charged, arrested, or even convicted for those crimes.
Regardless, on Election Day, voters are going to render a verdict.
They sure will. Our thanks to Pierre Thomas for that.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.